Hello, I'm Daniela Ferreras, and I will be presenting my exercise prescription on my client. So this is my client's information. He is a male, 70 years old and turning 71 in June. His current health status is that he does have high blood pressure and does take medication for that, and no major surgeries. So no heart surgeries, no hip fractures, no surgeries in regards to that. And some medications that he takes, of course, for his high blood pressure, labetalol, and he also takes vitamin D, C, and calcium. In terms of his exercise experience, he does moderate amount of walking. So when we were doing the interviews, he was saying that he goes to the mall a lot, and his duration at the mall is about 2 to 3 hours. So he'll be walking around, maybe sitting down a bit, walking around, sitting down a bit. But during his stay at the mall, he does bring his grandchildren, so he will be pushing some strollers. So that is also some sort of physical activity. In terms of resistance exercise, he doesn't do too much. Maybe the only resistance exercise that he does is maybe pushing his grandchildren on the stroller. But in terms of using uh gym equipment like weights or bands, he does not have any experience with that. And in terms of his main motivation is his family. So we did do some health screening questionnaire. So here are some examples of that. We did the exercise preparation and health screening questionnaire for exercise professionals. We also did the PAR-Q, and we also did the fracture risk assessment tool. So here are some assessments that we will do on the client that I picked out. So the first one is the 2-minute step test. And I chose this because it is very easy to do. I think that it's the most practical compared to the 6-minute test, which we could have done. But in terms of measuring tape, I don't have that long of measuring tape to measure at the distance of how long my participant could walk in 6 minutes. But for this assessment, it's going to measure cardiorespiratory endurance. You're going to need a stopwatch, masking tape, measuring cord, or tape. And the objective of this test is to march in place as much as they can under 2 minutes. So what the participants will do is that we will take a measuring cord or a measuring tape or cord, and we're going to measure from their iliac crest all the way to their patella, and we're going to find the midpoint of that. So once we find the midpoint of that, we're going to mark it. And we're then going to mark that same height level onto the wall. So once we have that, we're going to have the participants stand by the wall, and we're going to have our stopwatches with us, and we're going to say go, and they're going to be marching in place for as long as they can for 2 minutes. And so we will record and count how many times that right knee is going to reach that marking on the wall. So the next assessment is the chair stand test. I also use this because of its practicality. You'll find chairs very common in homes, basically anywhere you can find a chair. So that's why I chose this assessment. But it's going to assess for their lower body strength. So you'll need a chair, stopwatch, and they need to complete as many sit and stands under 30 minutes. Sorry, no, under 30 seconds. So you're gonna need the same height of chair of 17 inches, and you're gonna have it lay um, behind against a wall. You're going to have the participants sit down with their back straight, feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Their hands will be crossed on their chest, and they're going to be standing up and down. And so again, the instructors will have a stopwatch. They will say go, and they will be standing up and down as much as they can. And this is a full range stand. So they'll stand up, sit back down, and that will be one. Next, we have the 8-foot up and go. So I chose this again because of its practicality. It's very easy because everyone has a chair at home or anywhere basically. And in the picture, we did use a cone, but you can use any kind of marker to just identify like the distance between that. But this assessment will assess for motor agility, balance. So you'll need a chair, cone, marker, stopwatch, tape measure. And so what you'll do is you'll have the participant sit down on the chair, and the chair is going to be a height of 17 inches again. And you're going to have them sit down. You're going to measure 8 feet across from that chair and then mark it with a tape, cone, whatever it is that you have with you. and they're going to be sitting down. You're going to have your stopwatch with you and you're going to say go. Right when you say go, you're going to start the stopwatch, even if they're still sitting down in the chair. They will walk up, go around that marker or cone, and then sit back down as fast as they can. And you also want to have them practice this test before we do this on them so that they are familiar with it. So here are some of the normative data that we have on senior males. And so we want to compare these assessments to this data so that we know where we can improve in terms of their health. So before we get into the exercise prescriptions, we want to make sure that our participants are warming up and cooling down after. So some warm-up examples that I mentioned are marching in place, arm circles, torso rotations, lunges, and when they lunge, they can even hold onto a bar. And some cool downs are to march in place, walk for 2 minutes, tricep stretches, and over the shoulder scratches. So we want to make sure that we are warming up so that before we do exercise, their heart rate and their breathing are more elevated to prepare them for the exercise. And we also want to make sure that they're cooling down so that we can bring or raise that heart rate back to resting and their breathing as well back to resting. So in terms of the cardiovascular program, we have the FIT model right here. So frequency, we're going to be doing this 4 days a week with a moderate intensity and a time being for 15 minutes. So the type of exercises that they can do is walk around the neighborhood, which they already do, so they can continue to do that. Walking around the mall, my participants also already do that, so they can continue to do that. And something that I added here is Nordic walking. So Nordic walking is said to be a lot more beneficial than just regular walking, and you're actually burning a lot more calories because you have the poles with you and you're also moving your arms a lot more. Another exercise that I put in is dancing. I thought that'd be really fun. It's safe. And another one is exergaming, which is you can be doing in the comfort of your own home. And some examples are like Wii Fit, and it's also pretty safe as well too. So with progression, they can increase the amount of minutes that they do their aerobic exercises as time goes on. So for example, each week, maybe they can progress 1 or 2 minutes, or each month, 1 or 2 minutes, or even the distance when they walk. Let's getting into a resistance training program. For the FIT model, we have the frequency, which is 3 days a week. Intensity is 5 to 6 RAP. Time is 30 minutes per day or as long as they need. And some type of exercises, we're going to be doing some upper and lower, and they can use resistant bands, as seen in these 2 pictures, machines, or even light weights, like in this picture as well too. So for upper, we can use bands or weights. So we're going to be doing some lateral raises right here like this, bicep curls, shoulder chest press, tricep extensions, pec flies, shoulder shrugs, and isometric planks. As for lower body exercises, we're going to be doing some chair stand-ups, just like the assessment that we did, banded wall sidewalks, and squats, wall sit, and lunges. So here's an example of the wall sit. Since that they are older, and if they are not able to get in that 90-degree flexion of their knees, as you can see in this picture, she's not really 90 degrees. They're still somewhat bent. And then as time goes on, maybe you can progress getting a little lower and lower. But in terms of volume, we're going to be doing about 2 to 3 sets for 6 to 12 reps. And so how can we progress this resistance training exercise? We can first start off with some resistant bands. Once they get used to it or it's not as challenging anymore, then we can move into light weights. And if machines are available, we can then use machines, which are really good because a lot of machines are already targeting that specific muscle. So there's not going to be, there's not a big chance of, doing the wrong position and not targeting the right muscles. But some examples of progressions is that 1 week we can do two sets with 6 reps, and then the next week we can do 3 sets with 6 reps, and then you can keep progressing the sets or the reps. For balance, we're doing 5 days per week. and with 10 minutes of time. So some exercises are heel toe walks for 10 minutes, like this video right here. We have one-legged stance, right? This video right here. Sorry, this picture right here. They're holding on to something and you're going to hold that for 25 seconds. Or they can even enroll themselves into some Tai Chi. And for progression, you can increase time as needed or every 2 weeks. So for flexibility, we're going to be doing a 3-day frequency per week. We're going to do the stretches or flexibility exercises until discomfort or tightness for a total of 10 minutes. So some examples of some exercises that they can do are standing calf raises and standing hamstring stretches, upper body tricep stretches, shoulder stretches, and trunk is cat and cow, just like seen in this picture. So volume is 2 to 4 sets to 30 to 60 seconds. And then again, for progression, you can progress as needed. You can even progress the number of sets or the number of seconds as weeks go on. And so some special concerns, since my participant does have hypertension, which is high blood pressure, here are some examples to lower that. So number one is weight loss, which is just exercising and doing some endurance exercising. No smoking, no smoking, and they do smoke, as when I was talking to them in their interview, they do smoke. So if they can decrease that, they can kind of help their high blood pressure, lower their stress levels, decrease unhealthy food like sodium, and take medication as they do, and resistance exercise and aerobic exercises as well. So there was a study by Jamie J. Edwards that doing isometric planks and wall sits lower high blood pressure. So for example, here's again the wall sit, and here's the isometric planks. So I did include this into their resistance plan, so we can incorporate this study finding. So here is a sample day and week plan. So for endurance, they'll be doing this for 4 days a week, Monday through Friday. So walk around the neighborhood, dancing, Nordic walking, dancing or extra gaming, and then again, walking around the neighborhood or the mall. And for resistance exercises, we're going to be doing this 3 times a week. So on Sunday, we're going to be doing some upper body, then we'll take a rest. Oops. Sorry, we'll take a rest. And on Tuesday, we'll be doing lower body, then we'll take a rest. On Thursday, we're going to be doing a full body exercise. I know that I put a lot of exercises here, but we can kind of lower that number down so it's not overwhelming. And we can also do a lower volume to that. And so after that full body exercise, they'll be doing 2 rest days because of that full body exercise before they start again. And for flexibility, they will be doing this for 3 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. I broke it down to lower body. Wednesday is going to be trunk, and Saturday is going to be upper body. As for their balance, we're doing 4 days a week, just like endurance, Monday through Friday, to heel toe walks, 1 leg stands, and then again, we're going to alternate back to heel toe walks, 1 leg stands. And on Friday, we're going to be doing both heel toe walks and 1 leg stands, and of course, decreasing the number of volume. So here's my works cited, and thank you very much.